Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip. And today we are talking about Episodio 3 through Episodio 5 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What's this one called? Golden Wind. It's new.
It's new. It's a new JoJo.
I haven't built up the muscle memory in my mouth. My mouthful memory.
Mm-hmm. I forgot that a bajillion people get introduced at a certain point in this, so we got a lot to cover. So we're starting off right away with Episodio 3, Meet the Gangster Behind the Wall. And we're picking up right where we left off with Giorno telling Bucciarati, like, hey, I'm so sad he doesn't say this in the dub. It's only in the subs where he says, I want to become a gangstar.
But also, you're my best friend now. Let's go kill your boss. And Bucciarati's like, yes, actually, yes.
Bucciarati is going through this almost the exact same thing that Speedwagon went through. He got beaten up by a guy who appears to be so noble in his cause. It's like, fuck it, I guess I'm changing my entire life around just for this guy.
And you can tell he's a good guy because, like, he gets hit with a soccer ball and he just gives it back to the kids playing nearby and doesn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And then says, hey, Giorno, I'm going to get you initiated into the gang. But just so you know, if anybody finds out why you want to get in my gang, I will have to kill you. And you just got to deal with that.
Yep. Giorno's just like, yeah, it's fair.
Quote, a traitor stands alone on an island of isolation.
Yeah. Bucciarati has bought into the dream that Giorno has here, and
of a mafia that doesn't sell drugs to children. That is the one thing that really sets us apart from the other gangsters.
So yeah, we head on into the OP, and when we're back out, Bucciarati is just kind of giving Giorno the rundown of the entire operation of the mafia gang he is in.
Yes. Their familia, that the organization is named Passione, and he explains to a native speaker of the Italian language that means passion.
Yep. What could passione mean? It's spelled so much like another word, but I just can't.
But what this means is that, like, in the reality of this scene, Bruno would be saying, my good friend Giorno, my gang is called Passione. It means passione.
Yeah.
And they are in charge of basically all of the industries of Napoli, both the legal and illegal, because they're pulling all the strings, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody knows the name or the face of the big boss they're after. We presume it's a he, but like everything goes out through secret orders to his most trusted lieutenants, who then distribute things to the capos, who sort of manage day-to-day affairs. Mm-hmm. And below the capos are all of the individual gangs, like Bruno's gang, who we're about to meet, and a whole bunch of other teams that all have their own specialties and their own territories.
Yeah, like there's the assassination gang, there's the narcotics gang,
selling drugs to kids gang. Yeah, we gotta take those guys out.
Yeah, those guys specifically really suck. As they're walking and talking, Bucciarati is taking Giorno to where the capo that he answers to is. So he get initiated into this gang, and they walk to a prison.
Yes, and they are going to meet Polpo. Polpo is their capo, who's going to give basically a job interview. And Giorno's like, cool. Anyway, what's the deal with stands? How many y'all got? What is stands? I still don't know.
Yeah. Is it just us two? Is it everyone?
Tell me what a stand is. I must know.
Does this guy have a stand? Is the interview fighting a stand?
And Bruno assures him, like, okay, don't ask me any questions. Everything will be clear once you go through this test. Like, okay, all right. Mm-hmm. So he goes into the prison, and Giorno is shocked to see that the prison guards all have automatic weapons.
Yes, they're just strapped at all times. Also, just gonna say, try to keep in mind what these prison guards look like in part 5, so that when we get to the prison guards in part 6, eventually we can do a fun little comparison.
I will say these are all normal human beings. Some of the most normal human beings we've seen in all 5 parts.
Yep, they're just people. The most remarkable feature you get on any of them is just that the lady prison guard who is patting Giorno down and body searching him kind of has like tiny eyebrows, but that's it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, pretty standard rules like you might expect. He cannot bring anything in. He's getting a pat down to make sure of it. Mm-hmm. He's not allowed to bring anything out. And he's like, wow, these guys seem really serious. From the way Bruno talked, it's like Polpo is running this place from the inside. Like he could walk out of prison anytime he wanted. He just doesn't want to because it's chill for him in here. But like, wow, these people are like doing real prison guard shit. That's a little shocking. Must be because all the cameras and they still got other people to answer to too. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so he is told like, okay, walk down this hallway on your left. That's where he'll be.
With like neon green haunted lighting?
Yes, I love the lighting in this hallway.
How much is the mood lighting costing the average Italian taxpayer? Come on now.
Yeah. And Giorno's just like, oh, I'm not being escorted. And they're just like, no. And they just slam the door behind him.
And inside, he sees a large prison cell that is not covered by iron bars, but rather just a big plexiglass sheet. It's very Silence of the Lambs, I guess.
Yep.
Inside is a stark white room with like exposed toilet and all the things that you would expect a prison cell to be, except that the bed is huge and incredibly ornate.
Yeah.
It's covered in bright yellow sheets with this like green embroidery and trim. Mm-hmm. And then the bed grows a hand. Oh my God, that's not a bed. That's a man. That is a living man.
Yes. The largest normal, quote unquote, human being we've seen in JoJo. This guy,
is not a normal human being. Polpo is the king of the trolls. He has black sclera. He's not a human being.
Yeah, okay. Actually, he has a voice filter on his voice, too, to make him sound a little demonic. This man, if he were standing straight up, would probably be like 10 or 12 feet tall.
And he can't because he's in a cell.
Yeah.
He has a roof over his head. We will never know how large he is.
Yeah.
His head alone is at least 250 pounds of meat.
He's very big.
He's a very big man.
I just like that Polpo can lay down in such a way that he becomes the perfect shape of a bed. This is not a standability. He's just huge and
he can just be rectangular all of a sudden.
Yeah. So yeah, this dude just transforms from bed mode into human mode.
Yeah, it makes the like transformer noise and everything. But he's going to do some Sherlock Holmes style deductions on Giorno and see his handedness and that he got an injury to one of his hands. And Giorno's like, yeah, you got me. That's why I was holding my briefcase in my offhand. Mm-hmm. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, polpo is the Italian word for octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps because he has his hands in everything. I don't know. But Polpo's English voice actor primarily works as a vocal director, including for the currently running Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, wow.
While his Japanese voice is Ryoma in the Getter Robo franchise ever since Getter Robo Armageddon in the 90s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you want to hear him scream a lot, boy, can you. He also voiced Auron in Final Fantasy X and dubbed for Abraham Lincoln in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Good. I also just want to point out Polpo's hat.
Yeah?
So he's wearing a hat that...
You could call it that.
The best way I could describe it is, what if you snipped off the top portion of the world's largest pincushion and threw that on top of somebody's head? It's just this red thing on top of his head with these big gray things sticking out of it that are shaped kind of like if you stuck pins into something, but...
Or you snip them off of a hairbrush.
Oh, yeah. But Polpo is making some of these observations about Giorno. Polpo also, at the same time, is opening his little mini fridge. I really think this guy needs a normal size fridge for just how large he is. But he pulls out a nice like Chianti, and he's just like, "Ooh, you like wine?" And
he starts talking about all, the finer things, how good crackers are with just the right amount of caviar and blah, blah, blah. And like, dude, if you're so fancy, why are you keeping your Chianti in a fridge?
Yeah.
The proper serving temperature is 60 degrees so it can warm up to 65 in the glass. You fool. You utter moron.
This dude's a poser.
Maybe if it's a specific wine fridge, sure, but no, he's keeping like his cheese and shit in there.
Yeah, there's like fruit in there too. And then while he's drinking the Chianti, he pulls out a little remote control and pushes a button, and you think, oh, he's going to have like a big screen TV hidden away in here. But no, it just lifts up a secret compartment in the wall of his jail cell that's full of guns.
Yes, guns and records and a teddy bear, because he expects people that come to meet him to bring a gift, even though that is expressly against the enforced rules of this prison.
There's also a grenade in there. One grenade.
One grenade, one teddy bear. We have balance in all things.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, Bucciarati already told me all about you. Like, wait, when? Because it seemed like they walked directly here from that overlook.
Telepathy.
So he's having this chat. He's having his snack. He bites two of his own fingertips off to eat his crackers.
Yep.
They reappear later. This is also not part of his stand ability. He could just do that.
Yeah. It's just Giorno's just like, did I just hallucinate him eating two of his fingers off? Whatever. My dream. My golden dream. And so, yeah, Pulpo is... He's beginning the interview.
And he's just waving this lit lighter around, not referring to it at all, to the point where I'm thinking, what, you're not smoking. What are you doing with that? And the scene goes on for a while before it is explained. Because first, Giorno has to display his gifts that he brought. He picked the lady guard's pockets while he was getting a pat down, and he just makes it shower cash.
Yeah, her ID, the large amount of cash she had in her wallet. I suppose if all these cops are like dirty cops or whatever, then they're probably getting lots of bribes that they have on hand. So sure,
that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Nobody pays a bribe with a check.
Yeah, Popo is very impressed in this, but he's just like, also, I don't think that's enough.
So Giorno says, well, I brought you something else. Entertainment, and he does the ear trick again, just shoves his whole ear inside his ear.
Yep. And it's just like, and he's just like, okay. Pulpo begins to talk about like, okay, all this stuff is pretty nice, but there's something even more important to have if you're gonna be initiated into this gang, and it's trust. Can I trust you?
Trust is way more important than skill and value, which is what Giorno was trying to demonstrate. So yes, the test of trust is to keep this lighter that Pulpo has lit for a 24-hour period, to come back with the flame still going tomorrow afternoon.
Yep. It's just like, the trust here is to show that you can do what we're asking of you, even when there are none of our eyes are on you.
He shares a little Thomas Fuller quote to that effect. Sure, why not? We all love theologians from the time of the English Civil War. Can't get enough of them.
Yep.
You think the current test for people trying to get into Passione these days is like a solar-powered light bulb? You think they're really worried about emissions these days?
Look, even if you're doing crimes and stuff, you gotta do just enough to keep people from being pissed off at you. And this is an easy way to get people on your side. Surprisingly, Pulpo just has like a little window way he can open up to pass objects through. Like,
well, they gotta feed him somehow.
I guess they gotta feed him somehow, but I'm just surprised he can open it on his end. I don't know.
He's Pulpo. He can have a gun and a grenade in there.
It's true. He puts the lighter on there, and he's like, okay, yeah, you got to keep this lit for 24 hours. And even if something really bullshit happens that's out of your control, that takes... God damn, I'm yawning a lot today. Thanks a lot, Daylight Savings. If anything bullshit happens to you, that's just like, ooh, a big gust of wind happens, or it starts raining like the instant you walk outside, or you sneeze and it takes the flame out, like... that ends the test. You're still fucked. Like, Giorno begins to reach out towards this lighter, and even just the slight movements of his hands to grab it is pushing the flame around, and it's very stressful for Giorno immediately. He's already sweating.
So he takes it, he walks down the hall, he gets out to the security checkpoint, and these cops aren't as dirty as you might think. They are not in on this test. They take the rule very seriously. You aren't allowed to get anything from Polpo. So the beginning of Giorno's test is how to smuggle a lit lighter, a flaming lighter out.
Yes.
And that's when we get our mid-episode title card. It's Echo Zack 3. Nice to see you. Mm-hmm. So Lady Guard is like, hey, I'm going to feel your whole body, and I'm going to grab any lighters you have, basically.
Giorno currently just has the lighter closed in one fist, with the flame just barely poking out from the top of his hand, and there's like smoke coming out of it. And she continues to search him, and she never gets to his hand. She gets like up to his wrists, and she's just like, "All right, yep, you're cool to go, psych." But not until you show me your palms.
And so he opens his hand and reveals a lovely, delicate flower. And apparently that's okay. There's a exception to the rules for lovely, delicate flowers.
Yeah, she's just like, it's just a flower, whatever. I don't care. Go ahead. You're good to go.
And as he leaves the prison outside, where the wind lives, Giorno, you fool, it turns back into the lighter, and one of the petals turns back into the flame. Hooray.
Yep. Giorno's on his way home now to the dorm he lives at, and everyone suddenly wants favors from Giorno here. It's just like, hey, we're a dozen men stacked up in a pyramid. Can you please press the button on our camera to take a picture of us? No. Hello, I'm an old man with 13,000 brooms, and I'm going to clean the entire world. Can you help me? No.
So he's walking back to the dormitory where he lives, I guess. Yeah. I guess Giorno goes to a boarding school of some kind.
Maybe.
And he decides to make a little shelter for this flame and camp out watching it through the night. And step one is putting this lighter inside a small loaf of bread.
Yep, he just takes a big chomp out of it and jams that lighter into this loaf of bread to like stabilize it.
Because much like his father, he asks us, the viewer, how many breads have you repurposed into housewares?
So yeah, he puts that bread on a plate and then puts that on a table and just surrounds it with tons of random objects to block wind and to keep stuff from touching it.
And that's when Koichi tracks him down. Sorry, go ahead.
I should mention there's just there's a shot when he's just like looking out his window after he's set up his little shelter, and he's got cans of Sprite in the background, and they are huge. They are like the size of his
Now, are
forearm.
they cans of Sprite or are they cans of Sprite?
Let me double check.
Because we see Sprite later with a letter A inserted. Yeah.
No, this one is called Spread.
Oh!
But it's clearly meant to be Sprite. These cans are larger than the loaves of bread. These are like 24-ouncer cans or something. They're huge.
They could just get Sierra Mist. They are tight with the Pepsi people. I don't understand.
Yeah. But yes, Koichi is here. He's just barging in, just opening Giorno's door, not knocking.
Because he's here to search the room of the guy who robbed him. Like, he really wants his passport because he can't wait the 2 weeks to have it reissued at the embassy or whatever.
Yeah.
And so Giorno just disappears like Batman. It's unknown where he is for a moment while Koichi starts to flip the room. I'm like, dude, he said your shit is gone. If you make him say it again, you will die. That's how this guy works.
Yes, Koichi is doing the JoJo thinking out loud a whole lot while searching the room so that Giorno can figure out what the fuck this little tiny man is doing. And Giorno is revealed to be just outside his dorm. Like he leapt out his window and just grappled onto the pipe that runs down the outside of the building.
And he's thinking to himself about the vulnerability of the lighter he left behind and its flame that, quote, he'll just think it's a fire hazard. Yeah, he will, because it is.
And so Giorno's just like, shit, I gotta grab this lighter back somehow. Here I go, golden wind, golden experience. And
gold experience is the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's really the son of Cars because he's got all these animal powers.
Yes. So keep in mind, Giorno can create life, but he can't command it what to do.
Well, I mean, that's not true, though. He can make helpful suggestions, I guess. None of the life he's ever made has done something he didn't want.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
He can suggest things, but he can't, like, just assume manual control of whatever he makes.
So Giorno punches a light switch. Does the light switch become some sort of crab or a bird? No. The waves of stand energy run through the light switch, through the wiring, into the lamp that is hanging down from the ceiling above the bread and the lighter, and that turns into a snake. And the snake then bites the bread to lift it away and take it off to eat the bread. You know how snakes like to eat bread? It's their favorite. But the snake is a silly, stupid snake because curling around the flame, the snake has now burned itself. And so the snake drops the bread and the lighter falls at an odd angle. So it is now no longer safely nestled among these desk objects. It is leaning against the sort of small paper file sort of like drawer thing where Giorno keeps his important documents. That is now beginning to burn and singe. This is what draws Koichi's attention because he finds his passport in there starting to burn, and so he grabs it and smacks the flame out, not paying attention to the lighter lit behind him, which gives Giorno time to reach in and grab the lighter without even being seen because he's the world's greatest pickpocket.
Yep. And so now Koichi's just holding a piece of bread with a chunk bitten out of it. And he's like, I thought there was a lighter here. Well, I got my passport. Dope. Oh, man. And so Giorno's got the lighter.
Snakes don't eat bread. They don't. Snakes don't eat bread.
Look, Giorno's only 15 years old. They haven't taught that yet in school. You don't learn that until...
The snake would know!
This is not an actual rule of golden experience, but just imagine if it's like the animals you create with this power do what you think those animals do. So if you're just the dumbest dude alive and believe that snakes eat bread, that snake will eat bread.
Can you imagine if Araki, like, cared about that and is like, okay, so what Giorno does is he takes a steak out of the fridge and turns that into a lighter holder.
Oh, my God.
Just put the lighter in the body of a dead mouse. Hell yes.
Yeah. Giorno's just leaving the entire building, and he's still got the lighter. The flame is still lit. He starts walking down the stairs he went up earlier in the episode, and out of nowhere, he gets splashed with a torrent of water, extinguishing the flame.
From that ancient janitor.
Yeah, the Koichi-sized old man janitor. The flame is extinguished, and this old man janitor is just like, oops, I'm extremely interested in this lighter. I can fix it. It probably works like lighters do. Just push the button on it.
And it turns out he's right, but it nearly burns his face off because an 8-foot jet comes out when he relights this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the test. If you come back with 3rd-degree burns, Polpo knows you fucked up.
Before he lights it, there's a bit where the old man is just like, I can fix it, and he holds the lighter up to his ear, and he's just like, I can still hear the gas coming out. Or whatever, and Giorno finds this very ominous, and he's just like, oh shit, does this mean the test isn't over? And after, like the old man lights the flame, a huge jet comes out, and Giorno's just like, this is fucking weird. And then when he looks up straight ahead, a stand just walks by.
A very spooky stand.
Yeah.
A stand that seems to have a metal face wired together out of plates.
Yep.
It's generally humanoid. It wears a big sort of shapeless, flowy cloak and a giant padded hat, kind of like it's wearing a big cushion for a hat.
Yeah.
It's got little horns bending down out of its temples. It's fucking cool and it's spooky as shit, and it is never named in the episode.
Yeah. This stand is one of my all-time favorite stand designs. He's just really cool looking.
He's a Star Wars.
Yeah,
this stand is a Star War.
He looks a little bit like a Star War. Yeah, totally. And so this stand, like Giorno sees it, and is like, what the fuck? And then the stand is just gone. It just like walked into a wall or something and disappeared. And then the stand reappears behind Giorno, grabbing the old man, or rather ripping the old man's soul out of his body.
And grabbing the soul of the old man.
Yeah. And he's just like, okay. He just says, you relit the flame. There are two paths to take. Prepare to be like tested or chosen or whatever. And he opens his mouth, and the stand-giving arrow from part 4 just comes out of his mouth.
And slowly just extends forward and pierces through the old man's head, or the old man's soul's head.
Soul blood starts shooting out of his head, and the old man goes cross-eyed because he just had his soul pierced by an arrow, and his soul rejoins his body, and he's dead. This old man got mega killed.
And that brings us to Episodio Cuatro, joining the gang. So this begins with Giorno catching the dead old man's body as sirens announce sunset is beginning. I don't think these are diegetic sirens, but still.
No, yeah. This stand locks its eyes on Giorno now and says the same thing like, oh, that guy wasn't my target. You relit the flame. You've got two paths to choose between. And
yes,
he just...
You can live as a chosen one or proceed down the path of death.
Yep. And Giorno tries to dodge all these lunges the stand is making at him, but it's not good enough. He grabs Giorno's soul like via his foot and rips it out. And of course, because he's already got a stand, his soul is golden experience.
That brings the OP. So after that, gold experience is just getting suffocated, getting choked out.
Yep.
And blood is bursting out of Giorno's hand as gold experience is trying to like block the arrow and grab at it.
Yeah.
And this is when Giorno decides Pulpo is not a very nice man.
Yes. Also, like when golden experience grabs the arrow, like grabbing it by the arrowhead, like it's his stand's hand just starts to like sizzle and burn and smoke. But yes, it's time to beat up this stand. Anyone who kills an old man sucks in Giorno's book.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as selling drugs to kids.
Yep. And so Giorno decides, you know what? If I just punch this stand a shitload, maybe the same thing will happen where its senses get overloaded and, you know, it'll feel like it's getting punched by someone way stronger than me. So he lands a big punch rush in, which, because he's the son of Dio, instead of any types of auras, he does Dio's muda muda muda.
And he even has shown a tendency to use the word in dialogue, you know, translated as useless or futile, but like he's got that vibe going aside from his stand's battle cry, or rather in addition to.
Yep. So yeah, he punches the stand a whole lot and knocks it several feet away, but as it gets knocked away, it just kind of fades away into the shadows and disappears.
Yeah, it gets a screen wipe from that mop bucket spilling away.
Yeah. Giorno's just like, oh, shit, where'd this dude go? And as he's looking around, you get a close-up kind of like a profile view of Giorno's face, and you can just see a very small dent start to slowly form on his neck. And then, oh, shit... The stand is just behind Giorno now, and it's got it's got golden experience in like a headlock, and it's just trying to jab the arrow clean through its neck
until the shadows shift and the sun comes through, and it just sort of like sizzles this enemy stand, and as it retreats away.
Yeah. This gives Giorno enough time to escape, and he just kind of like stumbles down the stairs. As he like lands at the bottom of the stairs, he notices he's in sunlight. There's a lot of shadow creeping up behind him because the sun is setting, and he just barely, with one finger, just taps the shadow, and then boom, the instant he does, the stand appears right there.
This is around when Koichi comes downstairs, and he's still not entirely convinced Giorno isn't a supervillain murder man. Yeah. And seeing this old dead janitor is really not looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I saw you talking to that old man earlier when I was tracking you. Like, wait a fucking second. You kill this old man?
This is pretty suspicious, you gotta admit. And that's when the mystery villain stand grabs Act 3 out of him.
Yeah, you while they're like arguing for a second there, you can see the stand approaching Koichi. Like, you can see a 2D like projection of him just on the shadows leading up the stairs, and he just like slides up them. He grabs Echoes here. And Giorno is just like, well, fuck, gotta save someone else now. And so he throws Golden Experience at this stand, gets hurt in the process.
Yeah, he keeps trying to give himself stigmata with this arrow, I swear.
Yeah. So he gets hit in the hand with the arrow again. But in the process, he was able to strike the railing to the stairs here that's casting shadow and turns it into vines.
Yes, vines of morning glories that then spread open and pull away to let the sunshine in and strike the stand and send it going back from whence it came.
Yeah. And now Koichi's just like, maybe he's not a serial killer. And Koichi's like, by the way, that arrow right there is really bad fucking news. We got to kill this guy right away. And Giorno's just like, hold the fuck up. What's that arrow? Also, can you please tell me what stands are?
So much of like this opening stretch that we're still in is really written in with the idea in mind that this could be somebody's first JoJo part.
Yep.
Like we're trying to explain what stands are through action, but we have our main character being like, if you don't get it, it's okay. Yeah, there's a lot, but we'll get there in due time.
Yeah. Koichi does not feel there's enough time to explain any of this stuff. And like, why should I be helping you or whatever?
And they've also figured out the basic like shadow transit power of this stand, that the worst thing you can do is be in a shadow. Oh shit, the sun is getting closer and closer to the rooftops. We're in trouble. Just go to a 24-hour Walmart. Nobody has shadows in a Walmart. You're true. Fine.
Yep. Like, Giorno convinces Koichi, like, okay, we're on the same side here for now. And he does this by explaining, like, yo, I've got hell of convictions. I have a golden dream, dude, and I gotta see it through. I'm a nice guy secretly. And Koichi's just like, okay, fine. I'll explain what the arrow is too, just a little bit as a treat. Now let's figure out how to beat the shit out of this stand. And Koichi, this being 2 years after part 4, now he's like the stand expert like Jotaro was in the previous part. And he's explaining like, okay, this is like a long range stand. The easiest way to take care of one of those, because they can be really strong, is to just take out the user. And Giorno's just like, well, he's in prison. That's not an option.
Basically, Koichi is using his past experience being the one to outsmart sheer heart attack. Like, okay, this stand is just operating under a few simple directives. That means it's dumb enough we should be able to trick it with a proper plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to trap it in a shadow under our control. And so then we'll be able to put it in a spot, and we take the shadow away, and it gets fucking roasted in the sun. This is Giorno's plan. It involves a Vespa because he is very Italian.
Yeah, they don't have much time because it's getting later in the day. Off we go. Let's run over to this Vespa and try to get this stand over here. But some ravens or crows fly by, and the stand hitches a ride. The stand
has hitched a ride in the shadow of these crows flying overhead and got the drop on our boys.
Yeah, now he has been able to use that to transfer himself to the shadow of a tree that Giorno is walking past, and the stand reaches out from the ground, just grabs Giorno by the ankle and stops him.
Yes, and well, it grabs gold experience, which in turn grabs Giorno. And as it has him, Koichi is, of course, dropping the 3 freeze to just like crush its hands, like make its fingers so heavy it cannot lift them into a grip. Yeah. But he's afraid that between his power and the stand, who is not letting go, he's going to turn Giorno's bones into powder.
Yeah.
He will never, ever walk again.
Yeah, and like this stand is still able to move more than it should be under 3 freeze, and Giorno remarks like, well, there's a lot of shade around here, so maybe the more shadow he is in, the stronger he gets.
But Giorno stops Koichi from releasing the grip, no matter what it might do to him, because he's got this guy right where he wants him.
Yep.
Because gold experience can supercharge something with life so much that it lives so hard that it runs through its whole life cycle really fast.
Yes. So suddenly you just hear a snap, and then a twig, like a tree branch, falls in the background, and the tree that is behind them casting the shadow here is going through its life cycle so fast that it dies
and just shatters to splinters. And I wonder if some of this is the whole like redirecting, but no, that's not how the redirecting things work. If that was part of this, it wouldn't be this enemy stand crushing the weakened, now elderly tree. It would be the stand crushing its own ankles. So that's not part of it. He just makes the tree so old it disintegrates.
Yeah, he punched the roots in the cracked pavement where his ankles are, like the pavement getting cracked by the weight of 3 freeze. So he had access to the roots of the tree to punch. But yes, the tree explodes, therefore getting rid of the shade being cast on the stand. It's getting roasted by the sun. And
it's being pinned in place by 3 freeze so it can't, shriek and shrink away.
Yep. Before he actually goes in for the killing blows on the stand, Giorno asks Koichi, like, hey, can you just walk like 2 steps to the right? And he's like framing it with his fingers. Like, and then he's like, okay, yeah, that looks good. And then he punches the shit out of the stand.
So yeah, it sort of dissolves in anguish, and Giorno's like, I don't know if this counts as passing the test.
Yeah.
So then we get a title card of the stand, which is the only way you would know, at least in the anime, that it is called Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Black Sabbath. Very cool looking stand.
And because it is never named outside this title card, you never have to deal with it being renamed Shadow Sabbath, which is not as cool.
It's nearly as cool. Yeah. So after this little title card, Koichi is running immediately to a payphone and be like, oh, fuck, there's another arrow. I have to tell Jotaro right now. This really fucking sucks. This is so bad. Oh, my God. And then Giorno, puts his hand on the... why can I not remember the name of the little thing? The little switch the phone rests on. He just pushes that down so Koichi can't make a call. And he's just like, this has to be a secret between the two of us. You cannot tell anyone else about this arrow, because if people start investigating this, I might get exposed, and then the mafia will kill me.
And keep selling drugs to kids.
Koichi, drugs to kids, that's so bad. and like Giorno's drive to do this is so strong and like noble that he is able to convince Koichi to not tell Jotaro about this for now.
And so, meanwhile, Pulpo is eating a giant ball of dough?
Yes. It's actually a pizza, but it's hard to tell because you only see the backside of it.
Yeah, he's eating a pizza upside down, and it's such I guess, flexible and stretchy pizza that it looks like it was not baked.
Yeah.
It was just sort of painted on the bottom.
Yes, please give me the rawest pizza you've got. I only have artisanal raw pizzas. Give me the gooeyest dough.
Oh, so that is where Giorno finds Pulpo at 3:00 the next day. Mm-hmm. And Pulpo's like, hey, buddy, I know you think that, skills and value are what we're looking for, but let me just reiterate. Respect. respect and trust. Respect is so important that it is the number one commandment. Pulpo's god is one who would forgive murder against those who would disrespect you. It is absolutely paramount.
Yep.
That's just a bit of life advice he gives Giorno, along with a snazzy little badge.
Mm-hmm. It's like the little like attorney badges attorneys in Japan have. The whole time he is like talking about respect and all this, he's having more snacks after the massive Pulpo-sized pizza. He's eating an apple and a banana that he pulled out of the fridge. Like Giorno kind of eyes the fridge for a second, and he then goes to take the badge. And as he's like reaching out for this badge, he notices Pulpo his eyes are closed. He's taking a gigantic swig. He's completely distracted. And
so he does something with gold experience. Just keep that in mind for later.
Yeah, you can see him just reaching with gold experience hand kind of towards where the fridge was. And that's all you know for now.
So meanwhile, on the outside, Koichi has called Jotaro, but with, a sort of Giorno-approved story to tell. Basically like, hey, this kid you're worried about, he's probably not going to conquer the world and plunge it into a new dark age. I'm like pretty sure he's chill. And if he does conquer the world, it'll be in a good way, I think.
He's got a good heart at the core of him, and Jotaro's just like, how can you tell? And Koichi's basically just says, I can see he may be the son of Dio, but I can see like the honor and the beliefs and the good drive for justice of the Joestars within him. And like you get to see part 5 versions of like old man Joseph in here, just like floating in the sky as Koichi talks about this.
It's like a part 5 style, but it's part 3 designs for Joseph and Jotaro.
Yeah, which is wild to
when
see.
Koichi did not know these men.
He saw photos. I don't know.
So yes, he is also thinking about Jonathan's balls. And then he decides, quote, I'm long overdue for some sightseeing, and just goes off on his merry way.
Yep. Giorno's got the Koichi approved, you're a good JoJo stamp, so everything is good.
So yeah, he clicks his heels and goes off. Meanwhile, Pulpo is eating a banana. He's having a banana snack. And as he peels his banana, the sound of a gun cocking is heard.
Yep.
And that gives him a moment's pause, but not too much. So he puts the banana in his mouth, and the banana turns into a banana gun. He's got a banana gun. He then shoots himself with a banana gun.
Yep, the banana turned into a gun in such a way that the thumb that was holding the banana in place is now exactly where the trigger is, and it's already been pulled. And
so Pulpo blows his own brains out, but because he's a stand user, I guess that damage goes in the opposite way too, because the arrow in Black Sabbath's mouth is also shattered, much in the way Pulpo's brains are, and falls into several chunks along the floor next to him.
Yep. When you're seeing this happen, it's not just all in one go. It's Giorno is with Bucciarati, just like, yep, I'm part of the gang now, and they're walking and talking. But meanwhile, you hear like Giorno's inner thoughts talking about, that lesson of respect that Pulpo gave him. And it's just like, oh, respect, huh? Did you show any respect to that old man you fucking killed? And Giorno just thinks, he's thinking to himself, like, could I ever do murder? Well, if we're talking about respect in the way Pulpo is, I think I'm justified in murder here. And like it's cutting constantly between Pulpo slowly eating this banana, cutting back towards Giorno with a very serious look on his face as he knows he's committed an act of murder. And Pulpo gets banana gunned. The old banana gun trick.
I mean, he eats it in more ways than one.
Yep.
And as this sequence finishes, Bucciarati has brought Giorno to meet his team of 4 stand-user mafiosi in a cafe.
Get ready for the rest of the main cast all at once.
In Episodio 5, Find Pulpo's Fortune. Woo! That's my favorite Italian game show. So yeah. I misspoke earlier. This episode is the one that begins with Passione's corporate org chart.
Yep.
But also we learned that Italian mafiosi hate attracting attention, which is why they wear their special badges. What?
Wear it on the inside of your shirt.
So yeah, the plan is to get to the boss. We need to get the boss's attention. To get the boss's attention, we have to rise to the level of capo, which means bringing in huge sacks of cash for the organization. Mm-hmm. And so in order to rise, we need the whole team to back us up. So the narrator introduces the capos across Italy gossiping about Polpo's death, and then voices one of the capos gossiping about Polpo's death.
Yes.
This man is so many people across the history of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, he is. No one has done more voices in the show than him. He So yeah, we eventually focus on two gangsters here talking about Polpo's death.
At least with Polpo dead, all the stuff about, gangsters wanting to blend in is more true.
Yeah. Like, these guys dress weird, some of them, but not in a way that would make you think they're in the mafia.
Yeah, Polpo dresses weird in a way that makes you think he's in the circus.
Yeah. These guys, you just think, oh, okay, they're in the club scene or something. I don't know.
They have very expensive haircuts and very club forward tastes as they're driving in this car, if you can call it that, because the one that's driving does not want to. He's doing anything but drive, and they keep nearly running into traffic headlong as they weave into the oncoming lane.
Yeah. So the guy who's driving, his eyes are slanted in a way that makes it look like someone was making him in a character creator and went, how far can I go to one extreme, and rotated them in a real messed up looking way. He's got no eyebrows. He has green hair that looks like if his hair was Link's hat.
Yes.
And he's wearing like a skin-tight white shirt that would just be kind of a normal white shirt if it wasn't for the fact that his shoulders and arms have giant spikes on them.
While his friend, the passenger who keeps reminding him, hey, look where you're fucking going, is wearing most of a long shirt. Yep,
the sides are cut out.
Yes, so you can see his obliques very well, and a deep V, of a sort of lavender or a very light purple color, and his special haircut is orange dreads. They aren't knitted together, but they are long, separated individual locks that makes me think of how are your dreads hanging together if they are not actual dreadlocks? How does that work?
And he's just wearing a hat that's kind of casting a shadow on his face, so you can't really get a good look at his actual facial features or anything. But they're both talking about rumors that have been around for a long time in Passione about how Polpo has a massive fortune.
Not just a fortune, he has fucking pirate treasure.
Yeah.
He turned it into doubloons and gemstones.
Yeah, the rumors is if you converted it all into cash, it would be like 5 billion lire or something like that. It's so much money that not even all of it is invested in the mafia. Some of it is just his own personal cash he is and treasures he has hidden away.
And also, people who are in the know about this are in the know that if Polpo shared his deep secrets with anybody, it's Bruno Bucciarati.
Yep, he was like the most trusted dude. And hey, if the guy with the orange hair, orange locks is like, damn, if I got a hold of that money, I could instantaneously ascend to the rank of capo.
And so the driver disappears.
Yes.
Which again is no change to how well this car is being piloted.
Yeah.
Just accidentally playing chicken all across Italy. And so Orange Guy's like, oh, damn it, Zucchero, where did you go? Come on, we were supposed to be in this together. Yeah. So yes, Zucchero is the Italian word for sugar. Mm-hmm. He's a very sweet boy.
We're going to be meeting a lot of characters. Well, there's still like band and music references throughout part 5 for sure. We're going to be meeting lots of characters named after food.
Yeah, apparently Bucciarati is named for an Italian cookie, like a name brand cookie.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's meet the crew that Giorno is about to be introduced to. These are 4 guys sitting around a cafe table, just guys being dudes.
Oh god, this is the most guys being dudes ever.
They all have very loud personalities that are the first thing to strike us, even before some of them get names. Yep. So, in order, we have Naranja Girga, whose name means orange. And he is a grade school dropout that is trying to hit the books and learn something, specifically today working on multiplication. He's probably the most androgynous JoJo's character to date. Yes. Like, I had seen this guy around. I thought we had a lady in the crew.
Yep.
The dude's wearing a miniskirt. Like, I'm not crazy, right?
Oh, no. Like, he's very androgynous. Like, this is the twinkiest JoJo ally.
I mean, he's jacked. Like,
he's jacked, but like there is definitely a sizable amount of fans specifically for Naranja, just from the androgyny and stuff like that. There a lot of people like Naranja.
My wife would wear this outfit.
Yeah.
I've got to show you this outfit. I'm not wrong. All right, come over here. Let's get this on recording. With slight alterations.
No,
actually. Okay, all right. Well, let's compare it to this guy's outfit.
Oh yeah, I totally wear the other guy's outfit first.
We'll talk about him in a second.
So yes, Naranja is wearing like a black top, kind of like Polnareff's, but with more straps that are there's shoulder straps, but additional straps that
he's wearing a 5-strap tank top.
Yeah.
The 2 over the shoulders, and then the other 3 come to a collar around the neck.
Yep. Naranja's got kind of like an orange. It's not a hat. There's not enough there to be a hat. So it's like an orange headband, but it's got an additional band that goes up across the top of your head.
Yeah, it's like someone said headscarf, and he thought, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And no.
Yeah, like a big belt, kind of high-waisted, that leads to like this orange and yellow kind of plaidish mini skirt going over like these purple-ish pants.
He's the scamp. He's the youngest of the group, at least until Giorno joins, and he's just a little shit-stirring. I guess he's going to be the funny one.
Naranja is like the little...
That's plural for oranges.
Naranja is like the little gremlin of the group, I suppose. If every group has to have a gremlin, Naranja's definitely that.
Naranja's English voice was Mikazuki in Iron-Blooded Orphans, so both the English and Japanese voices of that Gundam protagonist have been in JoJo's as different characters.
Nice.
His English voice was also 9S in Nier Automata and Mob in Mob Psycho 100.
Oh, that's why I recognize the voice so much. Makes sense.
Yes.
All right.
While Naranja's Japanese voice was Deku in My Hero Academia.
Okay, yep.
And dubbed the character of Newt in the Maze Runner trilogy.
Oh, shit, okay.
So Naranja's patient, but not infinitely patient tutor in his learning is Panna Cotta Fugo. I don't think I got to explain what Panna Cotta means in this naming scheme.
Yeah.
And he is wearing a green business suit, but I don't know what kind of business he's doing.
Yeah.
Because there are huge circular holes cut in the pants and arms.
Yep. It doesn't have a deep V, but it's got a really wide neck.
It's got a pretty wide neck, and he wears it wide open below one button over the sternum to reveal that there is no underlayer. He's not wearing a shirt under this jacket, just a tie.
Just a tie, like a purplish tie.
With strawberries on it.
Yeah. He's just green all the way down. Otherwise, his hair is kind of similar to the orange guy in the car earlier.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like a lighter orange mullet with long bangs.
And he's very patient and understanding and encouraging until Naranja does the wrongest answer in the history of multiplication homework, and then he becomes incredibly violent and starts beating him for being so damn stupid.
And in fact, just grabs a fork off the table and jabs it into Naranja's face. Just like stabs him in the cheek.
So yeah, he's the 2 boys in this boy of this part, I guess. Mm-hmm. And Fugo's English voice has done a lot of like Power Rangers monster voices.
Huh, weird.
And a few things in like the early Toonami era of dubbing.
Okay.
But his current work is much more as a voice director, including 86, the film Paprika, and Bobobo Bobobo.
Oh, shit. That must be a fun one to work on.
While his Japanese voice is Yomugi, the protagonist of SSSS Dynazenon, which I guess is the new show I'm going to keep talking about all the time.
Yeah, I feel like it's coming up a lot.
And he dubs for Tom Holland. This is
Oh, wow.
Japan's Hollywood Mr. Uncharted and Spider-Man.
Yeah. The voice acting for him, like, he has a very soft, kind-hearted voice until he doesn't.
Guy number 3 is Guido Mista. They just call him Mista. Mista means mixed. It's supposed to be a reference to mixed salad, I guess?
Yeah, or mista, rather.
That's right. It is an Italian word. I should be doing better at that. And he wears a crop top sweater with like a crisscross diamond pattern of white piping, which is mirrored in his hat. His hat that looks like it's worn in a dystopian sci-fi.
It's like if you had a toque with like the ear flaps on it, kind of, but the center bit that like right above where, like the center of his face, it descends downwards in like an arrow shape. But yeah, it's like his sweater is like, white piping crisscross with blue diamonds. His hat is white piping with red diamonds on it, with little circles in the center of each diamond.
And he's got tiger stripe pants.
Yeah, tiger stripe pants. And yeah, he's just got a whole exposed midriff. Mista here is immediately pissed off, not because his friend was getting stabbed in the cheek with a fork, but because the waitress has wheeled in cake slices for the 4 of them. So there's 4 cake slices. And this dude is extremely superstitious, and he hates anything that comes in the number 4. Because in Japan, 4 is like the same character as death. There's a whole superstition of 4 meaning death. That sucks. You either bring 3 cake slices or you bring 5. You don't bring 4 cake slices. Take this shit back. Take 1 slice back, please, God.
His English voice, we've met before. He's our mid-Michigan compatriot who was Superfly's guy back in part 4.
Oh, okay, cool.
He also voices the Great Deco Tree in Breath of the Wild, and is currently dubbing the idol fanboy who wins the lottery in Odd Taxi.
Okay.
Have you checked out Odd Taxi yet?
I have not watched Odd Taxi. I keep hearing it's really good.
I am about 2/3 through it, and it is indeed really good.
Okay, I gotta check it out.
Like the structure of the plot, just following these people as they keep running into one another, and things are reverberating across the cast in ways that only the viewer can really understand. It's a lot of fun. It's very Coen Brothers. It's very Tatami Galaxy.
Ooh, I love Tatami Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
While Mista's Japanese voice is, again, back to Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, the gangster and ultimate wives guy, Naze Turbine. Also Xenos in Final Fantasy XIV, and Little Mac in Smash Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fun.
While Mista is freaking out about the number of cake slices, and Fugo is stabbing his friend for thinking that 16 times 55 is 28 somehow. Fourth guy is just listening to his tunes and goes and grabs a piece of damn cake and eats some quietly to himself.
Yep.
Fourth guy will not be named until the end of the episode.
Yup.
He is wearing a sort of deep V tunic top with a lace up front, which is laced pretty wide open, revealing his chest. And that is actually like a long coat that goes down to the knees, is held together by a big buckle with just a circular A medallion. He's got probably the simplest outfit of the whole crowd, but he's got two-tone hair.
Yep.
That goes straight down into resolves into downward pointing spikes around a little past shoulder length. Although the top is a big 6 or 7 pointed star in a darker shade of purple than the rest of his very pale purple hair.
Yep. Yes, this is Leon Abacchio, and he's the quiet one.
Yeah. Abacchio means lamb meat. in Italian. I guess they have a word for lamb aside from lamb. The same way we say beef instead of cow.
Right.
The Italians say abbacchio instead of the word for the animal.
Okay. And so while Abbacchio here is just getting a slice of cake and drinking some tea or whatever, Naranja here has whipped out a pocket knife and is threatening to slit Fugo's throat for stabbing him in the face. And this is where Giorno and Bruno walk in, and Bruno's just like, fucking shut up, stop being dudes. You're making a lot of noise in the restaurant. Here's the new guy. He's 15 years old.
Now, Abbacchio's voices, you won't hear them much, relatively speaking at least, but his English voice was Captain Zeon in Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise and Chief Wheeler in Lego City Adventures.
Okay.
He does not have as extensive a library as some of the others here.
Yeah.
While his Japanese voice was Grimjow in Bleach. And as promised, Kenneth Slegg in Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, told you that'd be coming back. And he dubbed Bernardo in the new West Side Story if you want to hear him sing.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, as soon as Bucciarati, breaks up the fight and is like, hey, this guy's Giorno, meet him. He's on the team now. He gets dragged away to answer a phone call that came from here at the cafe. Because I guess this is their hangout. People know this is where you find Bucciarati.
Yep. And yeah, so Bruno's getting a phone call. We don't get to hear what is being said on the other end. He is getting some type of news on the phone because he seems shocked by it. There's an open window nearby where a very tiny old lady comes by and is like begging Bucciarati for help.
Stregonona herself has come to ask for a favor, yes. Meanwhile, Quiet Guy is peeing in the teapot at the table.
A lot of pee. This dude was holding it in for like...
really had to go.
This is a lot of piss.
And all of the other members of the crew are like, yeah, pee in that teapot. Hell yeah. I love this prank that I see coming.
So yeah, Giorno sits down and Abbacchio is just like, hey, you want some tea? And so he pours him the hottest, steamiest cup of piss you will ever see.
It's not clear whether Giorno knows exactly what's up, but he knows something's up. He knows that this is prank tea of one manner or another.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tension, like what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Is he gonna be a spoil sport? Is he gonna get tricked? What's gonna happen? And so, like, with a wink, so they all know that he knows something's up, he downs this in a shot.
Yeah, this dude does a shot of piss, and everyone's just like shocked, and then they're like, whoa, that was sick. How'd you do that? You did a trick, right? You didn't actually drink pee, right?
And they're wondering if, like, oh, does he have a stand? Is his stand's ability to, like, make a portal to nowhere in his mouth? Which is a wild-ass stand ability. So what we know, as the privileged viewer, is that Giorno has used Gold Experience to turn one of his teeth into a jellyfish. And as we all know, jellyfish are 99% water, which makes them very absorbent. No, it doesn't! They're already full of water.
But, like, Giorno is smiling, and, like, like a toothy smile.
You drank pee and want to make us think you didn't. That's what happened.
And, like, the camera...
Unless this wasn't a specially dehydrated jellyfish that you turned your tooth into, it didn't absorb shit. And also... even if it had, I saw how much volume that pee took up, and I see how big your tooth jellyfish is. No, it did nothing. It did nothing. You drank pee.
Yeah, but like the camera zooms in on Giorno's smile, and it looks like he just has a gold tooth until it zooms in further, and yes, there is a tooth-sized jellyfish in his mouth that is apparently full of pee.
Bruno comes in and he's like, hey, everybody, saddle up. We got a job to do. I'll tell you the details when you need to know them. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so as they walk, he is thinking to himself about, Giorno's powerful charisma. Like, wow, this dude immediately won over the whole crew. Perhaps he even has a sensuality you wouldn't expect from a man. But Giorno, he is reflecting on Bruno's place in the neighborhood to himself as everybody waves it at Bruno Bucciarati. Everybody's got a nice thing to say. Everybody's inviting him to, like, you know, have one on the house at whatever their house happens to be, or you know, come see my daughter, you know, whatever. Everybody loves Bruno.
Yep.
So now we learn what this old lady's job is that is unrelated to the job they're actually going to. See, this old lady is friends with another old lady whose son beats her because of the drugs.
The drugs. Who is dealing these drugs?
He's got to make sure that this old lady's son stops beating her. We hate drugs. All members of the mafia hate the drugs.
Bucciarati is like, he had already bought into Giorno's whole mission here, but now that he's seeing like people from his own turf being affected by the drugs, he's like extra like, this sucks. We gotta do something about this.
And this isn't even selling drugs to kids. I imagine this dude beating his mom is at least 40 years old. That's an old mom. So then we get our mid-episode title card of just the gang hierarchy again, which is presented as basically carvings in stone relief.
Yes.
In this huge, it is essentially a pyramidal structure, but it is arranged more like the fucking Acropolis or you know the or a Roman temple in that style. So when we're back at the action, you know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, people come for the supernatural fights with nightmare logic, but they stay to see dudes waiting in line at a boat rental place.
Yep. Whatever this job is, they need a boat. Mista is immediately like, don't pick boat number 4. Fucking, I'll kill you. While they're getting this boat, Naranja is being the little gremlin of the group, and he's grabbed every single snack that you can grab.
Including, again, some cans of Sprite.
I love Sprite.
So they head out on this yacht they've rented. They got a 3-day rental for free because everybody fucking loves Bruno so much. And all of their outfits are going to lead to some very interesting sunburn shapes.
Yeah. And so the boat they are on is called the Lagoon 2. This matters. And everyone's like, they're pretty far out on the water now. Naranja is chilling out to music. He's listening to his headphones way too fucking loud. Mista's nearby reading like a fashion magazine.
And so he buys a Sprite off of Naranja because he's thirsty. And you know what? Maybe he should have got some snacks too. So he buys a can off of him. And during this exchange, he like passes off the magazine to Naranja, so he has, you know, 2 free hands to like open the top. And then, hidden behind his own magazine, he pours the can out over the CD player, breaking it to get some peace and damn quiet. Oh boy, these guys are always pulling pranks. And this is when Bruno tells everybody what the fuck they're out here for.
Yep. This is that phone call that Bruno got earlier was him learning that Pulpo has died. Giorno has still told no one that he's the one who murdered Pulpo.
Yeah, word on the street is that Pulpo committed suicide because that's exactly what it looks like to all evidence.
Yep.
However, people who know Pulpo, like all of these criminals, are like, there's no fucking way Pulpo, no way in hell. But, you know, he did, so how do we square that? Who cares? Let's just get his money.
Yeah, the mission here, like Bruno knows the location of Pulpo's treasure. Let's just go get all that cash and we'll immediately go up to the rank of capo.
Because this is actually worth 10 billion lira in like fucking, again, gold coins and gems and baubles buried on an island.
Yep.
Pirate Pulpo, yar. By the way, that's about 2.8 million in US dollars, at least by present exchange rates. I imagine in 1995 when it's written, and 2001 when it's set, it's not that different.
Yeah. Yeah, Bruno has not been telling anyone what they're doing until this point because he is very paranoid of other people in the mafia spying on them to learn this info. And as he's talking about it, Naranja, who is the furthest back from the rest of the gang, he's like on the very top of the boat, like watching from afar while everyone else is like right next to Bruno. He seems to like fall over and trip.
Yeah. But before this, when the crowd is reacting, I think it's interesting how each of them thinks about this news. Like, Fugo and the quiet guy both think to themselves about how they knew Bruno would be capo one day, and, like, good for him. Although one of them in terms of, yes, my prediction is coming true, and the other like, yeah, man, you deserve it, bro.
Yeah.
While Mista is just real excited to go play pirate and have this sailing adventure. And Naranja is the only one who talks out loud, asking, where exactly is it hidden, though? Where on this island are we going?
Yeah.
And that's when he falls down and gets dragged through a drain, apparently, because they go check out where he was last seen, lift open a hatch, and it's just... but it's not a hatch down. It's just like a little bit of storage with like bilge drainage in case of rain. Where is the boy? Where is the small boy?
A single shoe of his is there, and that's it. And so everyone's just like, okay, Naranja, what the fuck? Where'd you go? And they all start searching the boat. And then Mista disappears. Fugo goes to check on Mista down deck, and so he opens up a hatch to go down, and then he disappears.
And so now that there's only 3 left, they're like, okay, some bullshit is afoot. We all need to stick together. This is when we finally hear Abbacchio's name said out loud.
Yep. So there's a bit here where they're like talking out their battle strategy, and they're like all in formation with their backs to each other. And the entire environment around them is spinning faster and faster and faster.
So as they are sticking together now, looking for clues, they do see that the passage below deck is torn wide open. This boat has severe damage. I don't know. Is the security deposit also on the house? I don't know how that works when they get back. But Bruno is pretty sure it's another member of Passione trying to get the treasure, picking off the crew to scare him and make him talk.
Yeah.
While Giorno is sure that the missing 3 are all still alive somewhere on the boat.
Yeah, he had turned Naranja's shoe from earlier into a fly, hoping for it to return to its owner, and it's kind of near the air. It's just flying back and forth in a holding pattern where the boat has kind of been torn open a bit.
Because flies are stupid.
But Giorno's rationale is like, Naranja is like there where the fly is, but there's something weird going on that the fly can't return to Naranja. It's just hovering at the location where he should be.
And so Bruno is like, okay, I know how we're going to do this. Abbacchio, it's time to bring your stand out. You're the man for this job. And Abbacchio is not ready to commit like that, because how can he trust Giorno?
Yeah.
This is where we really get into it, that this is an undercover story, at least for now, where everyone, okay, we might have fun together, breaking each other's shit and having some pranks. But at the end of the day, I don't fucking know you. And to know my stand when I don't know yours is to have power over me. I know you can drink pee, but I don't know what you can do in a fight.
Yeah. So yeah, Abbacchio ain't doing shit. And I believe he calls Giorno a coward. And so Giorno's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, time for interview number 2. Here's all my fucking JoJo ass convictions and bravery and stuff. I'm gonna run straight towards where that fly is.
So a tentacle arm grabs his ass.
Yeah.
And another stabs him with a rapier through the back.
Yep, clean through.
And then a bunch of wrinkles spread over his face. That's basically it. This spurs Abbacchio into action, like, oh, all right, new guy got fucked up. I guess I do have to do what I'm told. Let's go. And that's the end of the episode, or rather the Episodio.
Yeah, like you see Abbacchio. The very last thing that happens is he pulls out his stand. Of course, it's only like the face of the stand, so you can't see too much of it. But yes, next episode we'll start to see some of the stands of the rest of the group, especially Abbacchio's. And yeah, that's the end of the 3 episodes for this week.
Now that we've met some people. I want to replug some stuff from past guest Sarah,
Yes.
who, after they were on the show and before we got to part 5, started producing knitwear inspired by the patterns of the Passione crew here. So if you want to get a cardigan or a hat in Bruno's like black and white keyhole pattern, or you want to get Mista's lattice as a knit hat, you can do that among a lot of other JoJo things. That's sarahmcclintock.com/knitwear to look at all of these patterns. You can get a Aura scarf. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool looking. I'm a little tempted. I don't know. I like some of the patterns on the Part 5 dudes. I could not wear any of their outfits and pull it off, nor would I even want to try. But I kind of like the weird little teardrop patterns on Bruno's stuff. It's interesting in Part 5 how you get a decent amount of time with a small amount of characters, so you really get to like kind of know Giorno and know that he's the first JoJo willing to murder if he thinks it's good.
Yeah, like you would think that Jotaro is that type, and like he killed a few people, but it was always in the heat of battle, and frankly less than you think, because there's so many times where the narrative is like, yeah, but they were fine though.
Yeah, they just got like blasted off into the sky like Team Rocket.
It takes 10 minutes for someone to die of decapitation. They're actually better off than you think they are.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting that we're getting the anti-hero who's like, you know what? Premeditated trap murder is fine by me. When, at least in US comics, the pendulum was swinging far away from that. Like, this is being published at the same time as Kingdom Come, all about like, is that really what we want our superheroes to be like, though? Come on, guys.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though, when it's like, this guy's still good, but he's still the son of Dio. Maybe there is a little bit of Dio in him there somewhere, and it's the premeditated murder part. And also, I think it's a fun setup at the start here to, like, okay, we got Giorno, we got Bruno. They're in together on, like, this new mission. The rest of the gang has no idea about this let's kill our boss mission.
Yeah. I'm excited and already preparing to be disappointed by the whole undercover aspect and vibe we're having right now. I would like to see so many stand fights that also work on the extra logic of how do I help this guy without showing him what I can do.
Right.
That is such a fun extra wrinkle, and I am guessing that by the time we're done talking about next week's episodes, everybody's perfectly hunky-dory. They'll probably know we're out to kill the boss by then. I'm going to be a little disappointed we didn't fully explore that vibe as much as I wanted, but I'm just going to live in the now.
Yep. And there's even the extra wrinkle on top of that wrinkle of, even though Giorno and Bruno are in on this secret mission, the rest of the gang is, Bruno doesn't know that Giorno fucking killed Popo.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd mind. I don't think he and Popo were tight like that.
Yeah, it's a fun twist to the usual like JoJo gang you get by around this point of any new part. But yeah, it is kind of different and also overwhelming to get one of the biggest JoJo like main casts introduced almost entirely at once. Like, we haven't had 6 main members that are with each other at all times, basically, since Stardust Crusaders, and one of those 6 was a dog that didn't talk much.
Yeah, and usually one was dead.
Yeah. We've got 6 whole dudes like at the same time right now. So it's a lot.
We haven't, I think last week we didn't talk enough about the change in art style for part 5.
Yes, yeah.
Because in part, I think it isn't as stark as the part 3, part 4 change. I think that's the biggest immediate change. But I guess if I were to describe it quickly, it would be that everyone's character designs are much more aggressive.
Yeah.
I think the way noses are drawn is a really good case in point, because noses don't have outlines.
Yes.
They are only
Yeah.
defined, one, by the thin vertical lines, like showing the curve of the bridge of the nose that's brought up from part 4, but also the shadow underneath, which is just an angular polygon that also includes the nostrils, which are just pointy little blades.
Yes.
Everything is very pointy, all of the details. Very, very aggressive, very pointy.
Yeah, there's also like a smaller new detail is just the fact that there's a lot more like small accent lines
Yes.
on people's facial features and on their hands and stuff. They don't quite have the sharp cheekbones that part 3 did, but they kind of halfway come back. Everyone has like lines down their cheeks now, at least.
And at least in more detailed moments and more close-up moments, like those long vertical lines are actually a series of very, very short horizontal lines.
Yeah. Like everyone's eyes are a little more like accentuated now because everyone has very luscious eyelashes now. Like the outlines on people's eyes are a lot thicker now. And it's maybe not as colorful as part 4 was, but when we haven't quite seen too many examples of it yet, but when the show really goes for it, it extremely goes for it in a way that even part 4 does not. And yeah, like aside from just that art direction too, like we are going even further into the change in body types, especially for the main characters. Like people are still ripped, but kind of in like a lean, sleek way.
We've gone from a hunk to twink entirely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the transformation is complete.
Everyone here is 130 pounds of the most muscle you've ever seen.
Yeah, everyone's dehydrated. It's definitely a smaller change, but still pretty noticeable if you like flip between part 4 and 5.
Oh, yeah, you know where you are for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, the choice to show Napoli and, the Bay of Naples now in very like representational, very like these are the colors things would be in the real world instead of, green skies and purple streets. But
yeah,
at their most beautiful, at their most like saturated, like
yeah.
the way some animes do food, this is doing Naples. It's
extremely idyllic. It's all the photos you see on a tourist website for Naples to like make you go there.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, and it's probably how Araki. There's no way Araki did not go here, right? Because it's been noted before that he likes to travel to places he's going to write stories in when he can. And like,
if he didn't go before writing, he convinced himself to go after. Like, yeah, this place seems really cool that I made up.
Yeah. Like, this dude fucking has loved Italy from the very beginning.
I'm waiting
JoJo.
for us to get Pasta Fight Round 2. More noodles thrown through wine glasses, please.
God, just imagine if like some other descendant of the Zeppeli family popped up in this.
Didn't he have brothers that were also orphaned by a shitty dad?
He did, yes.
Yeah. There's some Zeppelis out there.
Mm-hmm.
We
gotta be.
We could go to Rome. We could find them. I've been thinking, like, the way that supporting casts, as we move from part to part, as we move down the timeline, just go away, right? Like, the JoJos will come back, but usually their friends don't. Koichi's a very special boy. But
Yeah.
But what I mean to say is, Lisa never died, in the text at least.
Yeah.
She could still just be hanging out on her fucking private island.
If she continued to practice Hamon unlike Joseph, then she's probably still kicking.
And boy, what kicks they were. Oh, man.
Yep. But yeah, it's also kind of interesting to see, like, we're 5 episodes in, and we've actually only done, 2 stand fights?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruno and then Black Sabbath, and that's it.
And, we're in the prelude to a third. Somebody is stealing the boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's what The Boys Season 3 is going to be about. Somebody stealing the boys.
I really like the Black Sabbath fight as just being a pretty simple, like, beginner stand.
Yeah.
He just looks really cool.
Also, the idea that this entire mafia is made of either people who are incredibly fastidious about lighters or people who survived the stand arrow and were like, yes, I want to be in the super mafia, please. Those are the only 2 ways to pass.
God, I just love that you can't be a gangster unless you have a ghost.
Or you're really, really good at tending
Or you're
flames.
really good. And then you feel like a chump because you don't have a ghost power and everyone else does, and you don't even know what the fuck is happening half the time.
Like, there's even a moment where Pulpo sees Giorno come back with the lighter, and he's like, yeah, okay, you passed. I have no way of knowing which way you passed. I can't see through Black Sabbath's eyes, so it's all the same to me.
Right, yeah, I forgot that there's a part where he remarks after, like, Giorno leaves with the badge he was given, and he's just like, no idea if he got a stand or not, but I guess it doesn't fucking matter. It's so easy to trick young people into joining the mafia. Doesn't matter either way. There's always more. You remarked on this in the previous episode, but 5 episodes in, this is probably the consistently weirdest JoJo has been.
Absolutely.
Turning the lamp into a snake, drinking pee with a jellyfish.
A vegetarian snake.
Yeah, a snake that likes bread. Killing a man with a banana that's secretly a gun. And when you peel the banana, it makes a cocking sound.
That's my first sign to put down the banana.
Yeah.
You know, rip to Pulpo, but I'm different.
Part 5 keeps being weird in that way. Like, a lot of it is just in thanks to Golden Experience being the weirdest power a JoJo could have, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a ton of time with the 4 new boys this episode. It feels like we got a rowdy group of frat boys here. Mm-hmm. Like, they're always hazing each other and pranking each other and just being loud and obnoxious, and, like, half the time they're antagonistic towards each other. Like,
I do appreciate that cafe scene because we've got 4 big personalities that all very quickly, you're like, okay, here's the one bullet point you need to know now. Yep. We're going to do more later, but here you go. And, like, yeah, I know who these guys are. I'm going to learn more about them and more wrinkles. I hope. God, I hope. But yes. I'm good for now.
Yeah, there's definitely more to them for sure. But yeah, it's a really solid intro. It seems like an incredibly hard thing to even try to execute, let alone pull off decently, of just like, I've got 4 new crazy-ass people. How do I introduce them all quickly, all at once? Instead of piecemeal like usual. It's exciting that we'll be getting to their stand powers soon, because they're all pretty neat.
And once I know what all their stands look like and do, I will understand the OP, finally.
Yep.
I think one of them's got a little plane. That's fun.
Even though you see their stands in the OP, some of them do a thing where you're like, I don't know what it did. I don't know what that stand does, even though it just did what it does on screen. This guy came out of a zipper and did punches. I understand.
Clearly,
This guy exploded when it screamed. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. This is, like you said, this is the weirdest JoJo's part so far. The most bizarre. But, like, there's a lot of bizarre stuff in the world.
Yeah.
There are weirder things than this. Y'all watching Raised by Wolves?
I have not, no.
Okay, all right. So, this is spoilers up to the second to last episode of season 2. By the time this comes out, you've had plenty of time to catch up on it if you wanted to. But, all right, so what just happened on Raised by Wolves is a giant flying snake around 50, 60 feet long ate a tree that until the day before was a lady, but then a seed fell into her palm, and then she dug a hole and turned into a giant tree overnight.
Okay.
Also, some of the people in the village are eating fruit that looks like human brains that falls from the lady tree, but they don't know it's a lady tree. So the giant snake comes down from the sky and swallows the lady tree in a single bite, and then it turns into a tentacle monster and starts killing people because it's really jealous over its brother. See, the snake was born. Its mom is a robot that did a coup to start running the atheist encampment. See, the atheists are at war with the sun worshippers.
Yeah.
And this isn't even touching the feral, acid-breathing merman that kidnapped an infant. See, this lady was having her baby on the seashore because she wanted to throw the baby into the boiling acid ocean because she didn't want the baby.
Yep.
And then it got stolen by a merman, and that made her want the baby. But then her adopted older brother, because she got kidnapped by the robots, so they're all siblings now. There's a lot of weird stuff in the world, okay?
Yeah.
And this is, if not a mainstream show, it is a live action show presented for, thinking, considerate adults, sold under the name of Ridley Scott, who is a mainstream guy. Not all of his projects are, but like...
Oh my God. Incredible.
I like it.
I think I might need to watch that show. I want to see the brain tree.
The stuff I really like about it is all of the interpersonal drama around all of the wild shit that happens, and just the very, very Ridley Scott way that people have huge, powerful, boiling emotions inside, but show that through very flat affect.
Huh, okay.
That seems very distinctly Scott-ian.
Sorry, what is this called again?
It's called Raised by Wolves.
I might check that out.
The second season starts with one character asking another to permanently seal her 6 nipples. So...
No one's ever sealed my nipples. What's going on here?
Well, as far as I know, you don't have 6.
If we ever run out of JoJo...
But we haven't. We have not yet run out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Next week, we will return with 3 more. Episodio 6, Moody Blues Counterattack, and Episodio 7 y 8, Sex Pistols Appears, Parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, Sex Pistols. But yeah, until then, see you later.
To be continued.